Happy Friday, my Mellon GA family. This is Drea Beta, coyote walking in this world in real life as Subtle Pueblo superhero. Also, your peer from the NAS department. I apologize, family. I am not attending today's meeting because I am fulfilling my duties as chair of the American Education Research Association Graduate Student Council, where I am the proud leader of 7,000 graduate students from around the world. And we're in an all-day council meeting today. So we are going to briefly go over a training that we have prepared for you. And it's basically to go over the ins and outs of social media etiquette. Let's take a look, family. So this is the quick social media guide for our Mellon group. So we need your help and why we need to make these changes. So just to give you guys a brief background, I know I've said this a couple times at the meetings, but I am a vlogger with 17,000 followers. I do this professionally, not only for my international consulting group of educators and academics from around the world, and there's 7 of us right now, but I also do this as part of my doctoral, this is my doctoral dissertation project. I'm a vlogger. I make videos instead of journaling. I'm a critical oceanographer. And for the last 19 months, 18 months, however March 2020 is, I've been wrangling with the internet. So I currently have 17,000 followers on 7 social media platforms, including Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and a new platform called Clubhouse. So this is kind of what I do. All right. Social media outreach is different than other outreaches through departments, right? So usually at UNM, we know our people. So we send an email out to NAS, we send an email out to Chicano Studies, and they're our students. So it's appropriate and perfectly fine for us to send out information. That is different when you're working with the internet. Less is more when it comes to the internet, family. So what we're going to be doing is going over a couple processes that are going to help our social media team make sure that we're serving the needs that you need us to do. So we want to make sure we get your flyers out. We make sure you get your events out. We want to make sure we're tagging everyone that's appropriate. And these processes we're going to talk about are going to help us do our jobs. Woohoo! We want to be superstars for you guys. And these small practices, easy practices, are going to go a long way to making all of our lives easier. So again, thank you, and we greatly appreciate your help. Woohoo! Because these new social media standards, safety standards, and protocols are, again, very important, family, and pretty much industry standards. And why do we want to do these new things? Well, family, we want to keep our events safe from Zoom bombing while increasing both our exposure and our attendance at all of our amazing events. So this is going to help us with that. All right, first things up, family, let's talk about flyers. So there are 2 different types of image file formats we're going to be talking about today, PDFs and PNGs. And guess what, family? We need both of them. So unfortunately, we've been getting a lot of PDFs. We can't do anything with PDFs, family. The files are too big. They're not formatted correctly. I cannot post a PDF on social media. It has to be converted to a PNG. So we need for you guys to literally give us as a social media team a PNG. I can't do anything. None of our wonderful, amazing team members can do anything with a PDF. So what we're going to do is, let's look at these quick little instructions. So again, PDFs will not work for social media. We need PNGs. So after completing your flyer, family, please download the 2 types of files. One is going to be for social media, and one is going to be for the Mellon records. So let's look at step 1. Step 1 is you're going to download the file type PNG. It's a high quality file, and it's what we need to post. So save that file, and you're going to send it to us. Step 2, but save it for now. Don't do anything with it. Just save it. Step 2 is download the second type of file, which is PDF. You're very familiar with that, right? That one you save, and you're going to send it to Annette. She needs a record, a record, and she wants to have the PDFs. In addition, family, it's a good resource to have because we could blitz that information to our internal listservs. So that wouldn't necessarily be social media, but it's still a great option for community outreach. So again, PNG to social media, PDF to Annette. Now so that was the first issue, family, was flyers, and it's just a different formatting, right? We need a different type of file. The second issue we're talking about today, family, is Zoom bombing. Okay. Zoom bombing is when you have trolls from the internet and they come and they'll go into a meeting because they have the password and they have the link, and they'll say bad stuff. They'll troll the speaker and ask inappropriate questions. Sometimes, if there aren't security measures, they'll hack in and take over the screen share and post inappropriate pictures. It happens a lot more frequently than you would think. So as we get more and more people, right? So again, trolls on the internet are real, and we're trying to prevent that from happening. And right now we're on 3 social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and we're on Instagram. So don't forget though, it's not just going to the people on our business accounts for the Mellon Project. But in addition to that, I'm weaponized my own personal network of 17,000 people. So I'm reposting, I'm tagging, and that's another way that you guys can help on your own end to help support the social media team's efforts, is by going back and following us as well and sharing yourself. So it's not just a couple hundred people who are getting this on social media. It's 17 to 20,000, depending on how all of us, how active all of us are. Right, so we do have the social media team. We are going to be rolling out a lot more posts, family, because these processes are going to make our jobs easier. Right, so again, remember, 17,000 strangers on the internet will be looking at our information. All right, so we've kind of talked about the problems, right? So the problems were, 1, we couldn't use PDFs, but we still needed them, and we went over that. And we talked about over Zoom. So what are our solutions? And these solutions, actually, now look at them, are specifically for number 2, right? These are the rules and solutions to help us prevent Zoom bombing. And that is, again, because we don't want any secure information like links and passwords to go on the internet. So new rule, no passwords or Zoom IDs on the flyers for social media. We can't, family. We cannot send that out. Okay? So remember that. Before you send the social media team your flyer, check to make sure you have removed the Zoom password and ID. Okay, that's the rule number 1. That's our golden rule, family. No secure information on the internet. And we have 2 solutions. So you're like, what, Dre? You can't put the password and have no Zoom ID, right? How am I going to get people to log in my event? That goes to our solutions, family. Option 1 is our go-to right now. Everyone should be doing this because we're still checking into option 2. Okay, so everyone start training yourselves on option 1, which is providing the contact information and adding it to the flyer instead. So it'd be like email, right? I am the president of the Society of Native American Graduate Students. So we have a SNAGS email. I would put contact, snag09@unm.edu. That is what you would add instead of the Zoom ID and instead of the password. Okay, but that is safe, right? It's not putting the Zoom bombing information out there. It's giving them a direct person to contact, and that's appropriate for this. That is appropriate. That is our option 1. But don't forget, family, if you, when you're doing that, you have to make sure someone's checking that email, because someone is going to say, hey, I want to go to this great event on Friday. What's the link? You have to remember to have someone send them that link. And also, very important, family, even during the event, you still need to be monitoring that email account, because people at the last minute will be trying to get into your event. So all in all, you want to make sure that whoever is in charge of that email is still monitoring it up to and throughout the event. And that's option 1, which is what we should start doing now to get comfortable with, right? Option 2, this one's more complicated, family. And Annette and I are going to have a meeting next week, or pretty soon. We're going to check into this. But this is called a registration link for a Zoom event, okay? This option requires a UNM level, department level access for Zoom, okay? It's a higher level. You have to pay more money to get the bells and whistles for this level of Zoom access, okay? So it's not something that you would have on your free account through UNM, right? On that account, I believe we get 40 minutes, but you would not be able to create this type of registration link. And again, family, I'm talking about option 2. So Annette and I are back checking on the Zoom capability of this, but this is our second option, which we're hoping will work. The other thing, family, is ask your departments if they already do it. right? Annette and I are going to check to see if we can do this for Mellon events, but really it's more appropriate for your department, if it is a department event, to be making the Zoom link for you. So if it's a real department event, they should be making the Zoom link for you. If it's a Mellon GA event, then Annette and I are going to be having a meeting with Zoom to see if we can secure the higher level registration link for all of our events. So the way this link works is when setting up a meeting, instead of a regular link with a Zoom and password and ID, you ask for a registration link. So with the higher level Zoom access, this link can be used for both formats. The webinar, which is where you can only see the speaker, right, the host, you can't see any of the audience people, or the meeting format where it's just regular Zoom, right? Everyone can see everyone. So with the higher level access, you can request a registration link for either of those two formats, okay? In addition, this is more the preferable option when it comes to registering for events online, because what it does is when people click on this link, because it's a real live web link that you can put on a flyer that is safe, right? But when they click on it, it individually registers the person for the event and provides each person with their own unique web access. So someone on the internet who's, Joe off the street in, I don't know, across the world, who wants to come and potentially be a Zoom bomber cannot, because they get their own link. And then we're able to have a lot more control over who can get access. And it also gives them a name. They have to put their name in, they have to register for the event, and we get their information. So Zoom bombers are less likely to Zoom bomb that kind of event because it's a lot more trouble and we're able to vet more carefully our participants, right? So it also produces a list of attendees and it's great for our record keeping. So again, ask your departments if they have the ability to make a registration link for the events. If it's their event, if it's a Mellon GA event, then Annette and I will get back to you about option 2. So for right now, on your flyers, family, make sure we're going with option 1. So I know that was a lot of info, and I'm sorry I'm not there to answer questions, but this is the recap, okay? And you can email me if you have any questions, okay? And it has my email. You guys all have my email. We're all in the same email. Okay, so remember the new rule. No Zoom ID or passwords on the flyers because it's a security risk. Remember that the PNG, you need 2 types of format for the image files. That the PNG goes to the social media team and that the PDF goes to Annette for her records. So that's basically the gist of what we just covered, family. And the last thing is you have some homework, family. We're creating a whole system where you can put all this information and calendar and all that good jazz, but it's too much to give you right now. All I want you to think about right now and your homework is for you to gather this type of information in this format and bring it to the next meeting. We're eventually going to compile all of the events that we've done so far, okay? But all we want you to do is focus on this term, ball term. What events have you done as a GA? And you're going to fill out A to H for each one of those events. So let's go over the information. Your name, your department, the name of the event, right? So I have been hosting the NAS Intertribal Study Group on Tuesdays from 4 to 6. We've had 3 of them so far, family. So for each one of those events, I would fill out this information, okay? So I would say Drea Beta, NAS Intertribal Study Group. I would talk about how frequent it happens, right? Don't worry about how frequent it happens right now. Just go ahead and just put down the dates, right? So just put in, every Monday or every Tuesday, or you can put in, it was on 10/18. So just simplify it, family. Just put the date. I want you to put the time of the event, and then I want you to put the flyer. So these notes will be important for you later, but right now, I just want you to concentrate on the left-hand side. Just write down the name, the date, the title of the event, the department, what time it happened, and I want you to go back and look for those flyers, right? If it is a future event, I need a PNG or we cannot send it out. But again, remember, going back to our last slide, you will need a PNG and a PDF for every event. So please start gathering that information. The next two are to help us get the text for our events, family. And this is going to be very helpful for us because what we're going to do is copy and paste this in all of our posts, and voila, we're going to have a streamlined process. So what we need from you are two different types of text. We need 280 characters, and if you Google Twitter checker, you can find a whole bunch of websites, and you literally copy and paste your text and you stick it in that website, and it will literally tell you, how many characters you have left or whether or not you have to delete some. So what we need, family, is 280 characters for us to be able to post your event information on Twitter. Okay, so start preparing 280 words. It's very, very short, family. It's like 2 sentences. Additionally, so that's G. Additionally, for H, family, we need your Instagram and Facebook text. And this gives you a little bit more leeway. We're not telling you to take time and rewrite the book. All we want you to do is basically steal the text from your flyer, okay? The who, what, where, why, and when, that's all we need, okay? But the good thing about Instagram and Facebook is if you have a deeper, a paragraph description about the event or the bio of the speaker perhaps, that is something that you probably can add to the Instagram or Facebook text because we have a lot more characters. There's 2,200 characters. We're suggesting about 120 words, which is a small paragraph, but again, you have a little more leeway. So this is our homework, family. Again, remember the new rule, no Zoom ID or passwords on flyers, that we need 2 different formats, PNG to social media, PDF to the net, and that for your next meeting, for every event that you have hosted so far and will host in the future, right? If you have them planned and ready, you're going to provide the information for A through H for each event. Okay? And again, don't pay attention to the text in the parentheses yet. Simplify your text. Name, department, title of event, day, time, flyer, whether or not you have both formats. And then the longest part is just going to be the Twitter and the Instagram. Don't take a lot of time on this, family. We just need the who, what, where, why, and when. Okay? All right, family. That ends it for today. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. I'll look out for my email over the weekend in case anyone has questions. Have a great night and take care.